Hello everyone and a very warm welcome to this special podcast session. I am Shubhankar Priyadarshi from the PGDM GM batch of 2025-26 at XLRI Jamshedpur, and I am extremely delighted to have the privilege of hosting our guest Mr. Arun Prasad Kesri, who is currently the Vice President in Human Resources at EXL Services. Before we begin, let me introduce Mr. Arun's impressive journey. He brings over 2 decades of rich experience in HR roles at global MNCs across various sectors, where he led human resources, employee relations, HR audits, and statutory compliance functions. Throughout his career, he has aligned people strategies with business goals and improved organizational effectiveness and fostered inclusive workplaces. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Arun.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And before we dive deep into our conversation, sir, I just wanted to let you know that this session will be special for me since I was a part of EXL myself before joining XLRI. So it truly feels like bringing my professional journey full circle.
Great. Thanks for this.
So let's get started, sir.
Yeah, please.
Sir, can you please take us back to your early days in human resources?
Yeah, so HR didn't came by itself. It was a deliberate decision. I was into my job. I was into sales and marketing, and then one fine day, my wife and I decided that this will not help us grow. I quit that job and then started preparing for my entrance examination and then got into the HR. HR was a deliberate decision. Why? Because I was always on the asking side of the life, and then when I came into HR, it was because that I wanted to go back and give back something to people, society, and the country itself at large. So that was the reason where I wanted to choose HR, because HR is something which gives a diverse area of choice in order to, help people foster their own journeys and, the success stories. So that was the reason why I chose HR as a domain, and with this 2 decades, working in the organizations, I've really helped build a lot of people career path, and of course help myself also get through to a place where I feel proud to speak about. So that's what my take about HR is.
Thank you for sharing that, sir. It's always inspiring to hear how the foundation of a career is built and what experiences set the stage for later leadership. So moving on to the next question. So having led HR functions across sectors like IT, telecom, banking and FMCG, how have your approaches adapted to each industry's unique challenges?
Yeah, so when you look at the telecom sector, there it's more of employee relation, industrial relation. There are people on the field and all. You have to be equipped with so much of wisdom that you are able to deal with people, you are able to deal with their grievances and all. Similarly, when you are in a banking sector, it's more about transition, more about data, more about confidentiality, and then that is where you need to deal with a different set of human angle, probably where integrity is most important, and it is said that when you have to do right when nobody is watching you. So those kind of situation you are into when you are into a banking atmosphere. When you look at a product in atmosphere, product is both selling and as well as manufacturing. Manufacturing, again you have to be into the IR part, which I have played the role. But when you are in the corporate side of the product, Samsung, which I am talking about, then you have to again see that how are you dealing with people, their emotions, and their own set of stress and anxieties, and of course if grievances are there, how you are dealing with those people, how you are enabling them to work and build a culture of trust. So that's how we have, I have seen changing the facets of life of HR and ER. And now with EXL, what I really do is that the entire policy which is there for the country, I take care of that along with the team. There is this audit and compliance around HR, which I do, which is a proactive check and measure in order to see that you are mitigating all forms of risk. And then there is a statutory compliance, which is again an obligation for the organization towards the government in terms of right remittance and contributions at a right time, so that people get the benefit of it. And then third is of course the all narratives of the policies around, how you are treating human, how you are giving opportunities to everybody, and how you are an equal opportunity organization. That's what the current situation is, where we are dealing with, of course, promoting DE&I.
That's really insightful, sir. Your ability to adapt your approach across diverse industries really highlights the versatility that is required of HR leaders today. So, sir, what leadership principles have guided your approach in building trust and resilience within diverse ecosystems?
So, when you look at people, the people around you have to be, driven by a certain set of examples, and those set of examples are policies, guidelines which are there, which are truly meaningful for them to follow them and then abide to them. So that is number one. So that when you look at such policies which are user friendly, which are easy for our people, our employees start believing in it and having that trust which builds them upon the guidelines which are shared. They start leveraging that policy for the benefit of themselves and the teams which they are operating for and or working for. So that's one part of it. The second part of it is that the resilience will come basically when you are also taking them along in the journey, enabling them, giving them good learning opportunities, giving them an opportunity to innovate, to be partner to the organization. And again, from the entrepreneurial mindset, how are they contributing in the growth of the journey of the organization. So when you bring in all those aspects, so the people start feeling belonging. When the people start feeling belonging, the resilience definitely then comes in, and we are able to take out the entire stress. There is a freshness in those employees who think that I am somewhere partnering with my own organization and I am contributing and I am generating value for my organization. So the feeling of pride definitely is something which comes out, and it helps. That's basically what I see at EXL now.
That's wonderful, sir. Sir, even I believe that resilience is truly the backbone of sustainable practices. Correct. And your perspective brings that out strongly. So how do you balance compliance-driven HR functions with fostering an inclusive and empathetic workplace culture?
Right. See, compliance, HR compliance and audits, somebody used to say that, there are various parts of compliances. We have SOX compliance, we have SOC 1, SOC 2, these are the compliances, and then there are ISO. So what we need to do is that we have to foster a culture of belief that something as a compliance which we are doing is not, of course it is mandated, but it is not something which is binding you from creating a fear. It is something which is helping you grow, mitigate all forms of risk, do some kind of risk control metrics, design that, and then work on it so that you are able to at least overcome or mitigate all forms of risks and gaps and are able to bridge. And if you are able to do this all proactively through an awareness, what happens? The fear goes away and you start partnering. The more you partner, the more you work hand in hand together, the more you are able to bridge gaps, mitigate all forms of risk, have a proper control which is proactive, and hold people so that they walk with you together. And therefore, what happens that the environment of any exposure in terms of internal or external, in terms of fraud or anything, that you are able to mitigate together. And that's basically the beauty in terms of how proactively, with a kind of awareness which you are giving to your people, you are able to manage that. That's what my whole say is about on this.
That's
piece.
Such a balanced approach, because generally compliance and empathy are seen as opposites, but your answer shows that they can actually reinforce each other.
Correct. Very true.
Sir, as a remote and hybrid models are becoming the norm, how do you envision HR compliance and employee relations evolving in the next 5 to 10 years?
So, what I see is that, of course, hybrid is coming up, but there are two set of people who will be there. There are two set of activities which will be. One would be more on business driven, one will be more on people driven. So there is an interchange of all those, because without people you can't do business. What happens that in the upcoming 3, 4, 5 years, what I see is that there is going to be a transition because of the AI which is coming in. There will be agentic AI, and there will be a lot of intervention of all the technological boom which is taking place. What will remain constant is the hybrid nature of work, depending on the need, which business or which client there is a requirement for a need to work from office, which all do not have a need to work from office, but have a can work from home. And then in between is the hybrid setup, where people think that whenever there is a requirement, people can come to office and work in a hybrid location, sometimes from the office, sometimes. But majoritarily what I feel is that over a period of time, altogether there will be a mix of both hybrid and work from office. Work from home will of course see a little change, because we are right now, from the data privacy and from the risk of our own technology, we are still growing in terms of making the significant controls which is required. So that's how it's going to change in the next 5, 7 years.
Thank you for sharing your vision. That really paints a futuristic picture of where HR is headed to. Sir, which emerging technologies or tools are you most excited about for redefining employee engagement and compliance monitoring?
See, for compliance monitoring, for employee engagement, there are enough and more tools which are there in terms of being there. Because if you look at your own mobile phones, those mobile phones are equipped with lot of apps which you yourself download because of the beauty of that app or because of the need of the app. So similarly, our organization has started also going ahead on that. We have some of our apps are available on the phone in terms of marking attendance, in terms of looking at the salary slip, or in terms of withdrawing your form 16, or in terms of looking at the policies. So those are enabled on the handheld devices also. And of course, there will be more tool and technology which will be enabled. We have a wiki now in our own organization developed by our own internal tech team, where we are right now into prompt stage, where we are prompting various questions so that it becomes prepared for answering to all EXL related internal queries. So those are some set of tool and technology which we are developing. We are right now we are in the project Renaissance phase, where we are moving into the Oracle part. The ORC is basically the Oracle, the cloud, everything on which is the recruitment, which is on the cloud. And then we have the Fusion HR, where we will again be on the cloud, but we will have lot of things which are self-driven by employees, and self-service module kind of things which we are initiating, so that it is not person dependent to get an answer, but it is a tool dependent to get an immediate answer. That's something on the tech part. On the compliance part, what we are looking and envisioning is that we have a tool and technology with a compliance partner who uses it for audits and all, and who has a AI driven tool which throws data in terms of what are the gaps, where you need to bridge them. So those are kind of intervention which we are doing right now in the organization. And to tell you, we at EXL is a 100% compliance organization. We follow the leaves, if you call it, across the country with various states. We follow it to the T. You talk of anything else under the statutory obligation, we follow it to the T, and we are 100% for the past so many years. So that makes me feel very proud of.
That's fascinating, sir. It seems technology is clearly set to play a transformational role
Correct.
in HR industries.
As an enabler.
Yes, sir. So what advice would you give to aspiring HR professionals about bridging academic learning with real-world HR challenges?
See, what I see among all of you, meeting the other colleagues of you, what I see is the kind of energy which you all are possessing, the kind of experience which you are taking. You have all become little mature, which I see when I go back 20 years back with some people with 4, 5 years of experience. They never had that kind of maturity. But the maturity which you all have is something very unique. And it's the right time and right stage for you, because you are in in a world which is disruptive, you are in a world which is enabling, you are in a world which is changing, and everything is so rapid that you are experiencing it, and because you are experiencing it, you are able to leverage that in your own day-to-day life, in your own career. And what will happen that the moment when you get into the industry, you are already ahead of the curve from the other people who will enter the industry afresh. Because many MBA programs, the candidates who pass out enter afresh, but you all, because of this experience, when you enter the world of the corporates, you will be little ahead of the curve. You will be in the solution and decision making team, and you will definitely, your experience will definitely be of lot of value to the organization. So what I would say is that continue this journey of learning, continue this journey of understanding how the disruption is taking place and what is new which is coming up, and also understanding that how you have to remain human in your approach, in your relations, and in your behavior. That's very, very important.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable advice. I'm pretty sure it resonates with many students and young professionals here at XLRI. So, looking back on your journey from legal frameworks to global HR leadership, what's one defining moment that affirmed your direction?
See, when I was with various organizations, I was more into the stat compliance, the employee relations, and IR part of it. But later on, when I started growing in my career, I realized that the value of respecting people, bringing the human out of them, while dealing with various issues, grievances, or some kind of situations. What I felt is that when you are growing up, you have to be very, very firm with your own decisions, but yet flexible with the approach with which you are taking a decision, how you have to be respectful. So while I was learning this, it was more so India, but slowly I started moving to the global, and I was managing some of the pieces for globe, some of the policies for globe. There I realized that people across the globe are little different than what they are in India. How they understand people, how they understand their organization is little different, and how we understand is little different. We as Indians do have a grow up with a kind of a fear, but when we look at the people who are overseas, they do not grow with the fear. They grow with the skills and competencies. Now what is happening in India, what I am seeing, the people who are now joining the organizations are more less on fear, but more on skills, more on competencies, and more on creativity, and more on confidence. So the landscape is changing, and what has happened is that I have got an opportunity now to lead a variety of things. So it says na vulnerability is your weakness. If you start thinking in that way, that's wrong. Vulnerability is never a weakness, and it is a strength if you look at it. How is vulnerability? Is that the world around you is throwing challenges to you and you are accepting it. It's like driving a car on a mountain. When you have a straight road, which is of course going up, you are at a particular speed. But when there is a curve and 4-5 curves, then you have to be very, very sincere in terms of your approach of driving. Similarly is life, and therefore when I started going global, I understood this aspect and the psyche of, or the mindset of people, and their feelings and their emotional part, their intelligence part. This all helped me, this all helped me to change the landscape.
Thank you, sir. Sir, your perspective on how vulnerability is never a weakness is truly powerful, and I'm pretty sure these will give enough clarity to an entire career journey for someone. So, sir, finally, I would like to ask one more question. So, what part of your work brings you the greatest satisfaction today, and what's next on your personal or professional horizon?
See, the greatest satisfaction is that when you resolve an issue, which is a win-win, and when you are able to bring out the human of a human, and yourself also put forth your humanity to the person while dealing with any kind of situation, because when you lead the ER, when you lead people issues, then probably a time comes where the person with whom you are dealing has less trust in the organization and you because of his grievance. So if you are able to convince the person that look, as an organization what you are doing is correct, and as an organization the decision which you are going to put forth, how are you going to do that, how respectful are you in terms of serving that decision on that person, and how respectfully or beautifully you are able to carve a next path or a next career for him or a next life for him, is something which gives me satisfaction that I have been able to, at least, even though the decisions were harsh, but I have been able to help an individual carve out another path for him or her for his future career. And the fundamental right is very important, which says that every human being has a right to live. So you are nobody to kill the life to live of an human, and therefore you have to be very much human to treat a human well. And when you do that, I feel so happy and satisfied that I've been able to help a soul. And that's on the grievance part. But when I meet students and colleges where I go to, when I help them with anything which is small or which makes a little difference to their life,
I didn't understand that.
so that is what gives me a lot of satisfaction and happiness, and I feel pride in doing that, and I think nothing more than that.
That's an
Yes.
excellent way to sum up your journey, sir. And I'm like, it's inspiring to see how passion. So now, before we bring this podcast session to an end, I would like to end with a quick rapid fire round.
Okay.
So, one book that shaped your leadership style.
So there have been many books I have been reading, and but when I think when I spoke about vulnerability, so this book by Simon Sinek, it says leaders eat last. Here he talks about the same vulnerability part, where he says that if you consider it as a weakness, then probably you are somewhere not accepting the challenge of the world and the life. So you don't have to think it as a weakness, it's a strength. And the more you think it as a strength, what will happen that you will, you will be able to overcome and empower yourself. And then the value of empathy and trust will increase, something on those lines. So therefore I think that book is something which has made little sense, and I have been able to overcome many such situations and instances where I felt that I have held my head high with good lot of empathy, trusting people on some part, and then have my own clear core values, and I think that has resulted into me dealing with tough competition across. So that's what I.
That sounds
feel,
fascinating, sir. I'll definitely give it a read.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
one habit that keeps you productive.
One habit that keeps me productive is that every morning when I wake up and when I am set onto my laptop, when I am working from home, I am talking about, or when I am working from office also, the first time when I open my laptop is I look at what exactly am I going to do in the entire day, where I am at least making one person at least happy about me being me, my existence in this world. Means that through me there is one person who should feel proud and happy that I have interacted with you. That's the day beginning. And then when the day ends, I look up what I have done, sent my emails to, what conversation I had, and what all. So I just try to recapitalize and recalculate, and then write that this is what the day has been, and I have been able to change or help someone in one decision at least, and one person at least. So that's what my satisfaction is more about.
So, I believe that's something many of us should adopt. So, can you name one habit that keeps you productive?
The one habit which keeps me productive is that when I start my day, the official journey. I look at all the emails and everything, but I do decide that there is something which I need to do for one person at least, which creates happiness and which makes that person feel that and value that good that he or she interacted with me or spoke to me or talked on to. That's one thing in the beginning, and end of the day I we recapitulate the entire day's work and then see that what are those good things which I have done, and have I been able to achieve that one happiness or a one smile which I have brought to any face, and have I been successful in being human. So those are the days, those are things which I every day morning do and evening I do, and that definitely starts with my own, the good deed starts within the family, and then the good deed and the day also ends in the similar manner that look, you feel proud that you have done something good today. So every day is a day where you need to keep doing good, showing your human side of the life and helping people.
Thank you, sir. I believe that's something many of us should adopt as well. So, one thing you wish you had learned earlier in your career?
When I was doing my sales and marketing, it was very tough for me to go and ask people that for business. So when I started feeling a little vulnerable about it, and it used to be a little, it used to bring little bit of low. It used to make me low sometimes, and I then said that this is not the life I had ever imagined of, asking for and people sometimes appreciating and accepting, and there are sometimes people who do not appreciate and they neglect it, or they say that no, we don't. So sales and marketing has been like that, and you have days when you are feeling low about it. So probably what I see is that the vulnerable, we call it vulnerability, whatever. Sorry for that. But you should not consider it as a weakness. You have to consider it as a challenge. Right now, when I'm meeting all of you, I see the kind of energy which is in you. Is you all are ready to take up the challenge. You know the world is changing rapidly and it is very disruptive. The energy which is there and the brightness which is there in your eyes, I try to, if you look at me, I also try to keep that same. I don't want to lose my age. I want to remain younger. I want to remain agile. I want to remain appreciated for all my work. And that's what I think is, I would tell that take everything as challenge and do it with firm belief, and you will be able to overcome and succeed.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for sharing this valuable piece of advice. Sir, a leader you deeply admire, and why so?
There are many leaders, I think, if I talk about, and all the leaders across the globe. Indra Nooyi is one of those. Sundar Pichai is one of those, of course. And then the boss of Channel and Leena Nair, who also passed out from XLRI. If you look at them, there is something which is very unique in them. And you look at yourself, you and she, if I look at them, there's a lot of similarities. The agility, the eagerness, the anxiety, that's all with them, and if I look at all the leaders, then primarily for me is Mr. Satya Nadella, who is everything to Microsoft. So Satya Nadella is the person, and if I want to talk about his journey, he started his studies from Hyderabad. His father was an IAS, and he possesses a lot of such wisdom, values, traits which are so essential to life, and yet he's so down to earth. I've met him very recently. He was in Delhi. There was a Microsoft conference. I was there. I met him, and when I look at him, that the kind of transformational leadership which he brings, if you look at him and his company as an organization, it is a collaborative company. His company is a competitive company to various other industry, technological industry. But if you look at him, how he has changed the company from competition to collaboration. Everybody today is using Outlook. Everybody today is using MS. In the school, in the colleges, everywhere this Outlook is being used and MS is being used. So it means that Microsoft is partnering with, in a way that the collaborative approach of Mr. Satya Nadella has brought lot of pride to the organization. Today, I don't feel Microsoft a different organization. I have the same respect for it because it is a part and parcel for my organization as well. Similarly, not from the tech perspective, because through tech, EXL is partnering with Microsoft, AWS, we're partnering with NVIDIA, we're partnering with Google. Of course, we are partnering on the AI part with them. But when you look at Microsoft, how he created it and how he shaped it is something which is, full of emphasizing empathy is what I have seen. That is number one. The second is the cloud visionary is what he has done. He has brought everything on the cloud. It is his vision where he brought, like Sundar Pichai brought in the Chrome, which you are using, the Google Chrome which you use is Sundar Pichai's. Similarly, the cloud invasion which happened, Satya Nadella brought that, and today we are so comfortable sitting there and look how we are using Outlook in our day-to-day life and how the cloud is helping us. That's the second part. And third is the inclusive values, that how he has also, while growing, he has also helped organization hold their hands and grow together. So these are few things which I have learned from Satya Nadella, to be, how can you be a great person yet you have to be humble. He had a son who was not well, and he passed away in 2022. He has two daughters. Of course, the son, the kind of trauma a parent has when the son is little, I don't want to call it differently abled, and still the parent, Mr. Nadella, was able to drive Microsoft to such high, and while dealing with such pain, such sorrow, even at home. And when he lost, definitely it was a big loss for him, but still he never let the world know that there was a sorrow or a setback or a low for him in his life. He continued that. So that is something which is very difficult for a person, but you need to learn. There are journeys in your life also which brings in pain. There are sometimes situations which are low, you don't feel like doing anything, but then the next morning it is you who tell yourself that please rise up and look at the world around, where you have people who have overcome that. You take that up as a challenge, work on it, throw that out, and start with the vigor, with the same intents. And I would always say that, look, never feel down about anything. Challenges will keep on coming, and it is you who has to thrive upon your own competency, work on your own skills up, and then beat those competitions. So that's what my take is.
That's a really thoughtful choice, sir, and it reflects a lot about your leadership values as well.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, at last, I would like to thank you so much for sharing your experiences, your journey and insights with us today. I'm sure everyone listening will carry forward some key takeaways. Once again, thank you, sir, for joining us. And to our audience, thank you for tuning in.
And I just want to lay a word of thanks to the XLRI students, the professors, the team. You are also wonderful, and XLRI for me has grown up. My respect for XLRI as an institution. I passed out in 2018 doing my labor laws from XLRI, but I feel so proud coming back to XLRI. It's my own college kind of feeling which I get. It's my own people which I see, and it's the same, you all definitely are studying here, but you all feel a part of my own team. And I learned a lot from all of you. My sincere thanks to all of you. God bless you, and stay connected, and just do well in life, and be humble and human. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.